Ah,
She wants me for me.
dude, you're gonna
not to like push her past her.
Dude, this falls into what we were talking about with she won't follow if she feels like she's being dragged. This is leadership.
Yeah.
This is, if you think about it like this, when all of you joined the program, you had zero communication skills.
So just slowly moving up. We're doing couples counseling every other weekend. She's doing the opposite weekend, so we're not doing that. She's doing counseling on her own. And there's a couple things she said she was going to do that she hasn't yet, like get into this other thing, but just kind of like keeping myself at bay a little bit. Just kind of just sitting and watching, doing the sitting and watching game, till the first of the year. So.
Well, and I'm assuming sitting and watching to you means moving forward. You're holding her accountable a little bit, but you're also, doing what you need to do. Correct?
Yeah, like I'm definitely being patient with her. Like she said, she would do a couple things, so I'm gonna give her a couple weeks and kind of bring it up again. We do have a busy month. There's a lot of birthdays in her side of the family. Our daughter's birthdays, Halloween, hers is the 20th. So there's a lot of things on her mind, and she's kind of gone back into the mode of staying busy for sure. But I think the counseling's going to help her out, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Is she
I'm not going to try and force everything on her plate and say, I would like you to
No.
do this. But I told her what I wanted, so.
And did you puke that or did you speak that?
Speak it.
Good. So do you feel like you are completely a new man handling this in a new way right now?
I kind of faltered the last 2 weeks. It was just fucking shit ton of insecurities. But, starting last week and this week, yeah. It's definitely turned around. I can tell she's turned around. And, like, part of me, the issue is like, is this just her? And we've talked about it before everybody else here. Is like, when she gets lovey-dovey or she flirts, it's just like, my mind wants to go to, because, it's out of guilt she's doing something. But I just need to take a step back and be like, look, just use it as a win. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's a win. And just keep moving forward. So the biggest thing for me is keep my insecurities at bay.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, your insecurities interfere all the time. Insecurity is a monster and it grips you, right? If you think about it like this, it's not necessarily whatever the reason is that she's moving forward. Actually, think about it like this. I've been showing up like a badass motherfucking Lord for a long time. And I've been patient and I've been loving and I've been there for her, for my family, and for myself. So I'm worth it, right?
Yeah.
When you're insecure, your nice guy is making you feel like you're not worth it, like she's doing it out of guilt. And so if you try to rationalize it like, oh, it doesn't really matter as long as she's doing it, then you're still going to feed that insecurity. The monster's still getting all the food it needs instead of understanding, actually, no, man, I've been doing a really good job. I started to get to where boundaries were important. She needed to move up with me, rise up with me, and damn, it's working. I'm leading my wife. She's going to counseling. She's communicating better. We're connecting more on whatever levels, right? We're moving forward. There's a win because I'm worth it. That's the guy that will lose the insecurity down the road.
Yeah. And we had talked in therapy, the sex thing's a big thing for her. And my counselor, for whatever reason, was like, why don't you guys just do no sex dates? So I guess there's a big expectation in her mind, no matter if I'm not expecting her or not. Like every time we go on a date, it's fucking sex. So I did that, and then Friday we went on a date. And I guess she has actually communicated to me that she wants to be a part of like the date process. And I was like, Friday, I was like saying some things we could do. And I gave her like 3 options, and she's like, I don't want to do any of that. I was like, okay, what would you like to do? This could be your date night. And so kind of giving her, I guess she feels like she doesn't have any control over anything in her life. And so, and I thought in my mind, I've always just been leading, surprise dates, going to this, telling her we're going to do this, or give her 3 options for dinner. So she wanted to be more part of that process. And I was like, okay, let's make it what you want to do tonight. So she picked where we went to eat, and she wanted to do shopping for Halloween stuff. We did that. We had a freaking blast. Like,
man, this is awesome. So, Lord's
right in the middle of Target and stuff. But before that, Matt, what was on my mind was the therapist said that is no sex dates. So she tried to have sex with me, I think, in her mind, just to get it out of the way before the date even started.
Yeah.
She tried to have a quickie with me in the hour. And I said, babe, I just want to hang out with you.
James, well done, man. Well done. Let me interrupt, Lords. This is such a valuable lesson, right? In the reset, when you get into Man at Play and I talk about dates, for example, I get into why you need to be more involved with it, why you need to be a magnet and plan it and let her know what's going on, be a player, make it super, all that stuff, okay? But the closer you get to where you want to be, the less you're going to be doing everything because your partner becomes a partner again, right? I plan very few dates. Catherine loves it. It's the exact opposite of what I tell you in the reset, right? And so the reason is because Catherine loves it. It's a strength for her. She's super excited about it. She's super jazzed. She doesn't look down on me, doesn't feel like it's overwhelming, like I'm not involved. And the other thing is, yes, we tend to think that if we're going on the date and we're loving on her, we're planning all this, that, all right, we're going to get laid at the end of the night. But what you'll learn is I don't always, make out with Catherine in the bathroom at a restaurant. I don't always come home and do it with her. That's not necessarily. Maybe we partied too long. Maybe we stayed up too late. Maybe whatever. And when you can remove that pressure, that's one of the last expectations, because that's the fun stuff. If she has the expectation of putting out on a date, that's like the big one, right? Because that's when it ruins the mood for the rest of the time. So James, well done. Way to think about the information you were given, way to process it. You didn't even bring that to us. You just literally have been learning in the program and implementing, dude. Amazing.
Yeah. Through the program and the masculine relationship is you can still lead without control.
Yes.
That's what I'm like deciphering between the two. Like, it's easy for a man to get like control mixed up with leading.
100%.
Lead kind of, it's like a kid on a tricycle or on a bike with training wheels. Like, you can nudge him to the side a little, just keep him in the lane, but let them control it. You know what I'm saying?
100%, man. That's exactly, that falls into order in society's solutions when men try to control or manipulate, right? That's not leadership. Nobody feels like following if they feel like they're being dragged. It's not happening. You're not a leader, okay? I am really impressed, man. Really impressed, dude.
She wouldn't take no for an answer that night. Like, we came home, and it was just kind of, but it's weird how she's kind of communicating now. And, like, I got it, like, I went to take a shower. She's like, oh, I was going to take a bath. You're not going to take a bath with me? I was like, yeah, I'll take a bath with you. And then, like, we got out, and I was like, in my mind, I was like, get my shorts on, get a TV show on. And, like, I was in the other room, like, well, what TV show you want to watch? And she comes out, and she has her towel or whatever, and I was like, what's up? And she was like, I want to fuck you. And I was like, no. So no sex date, babe. That's it. When you don't expect it, that's when I want you the most. And so it turned out to be a good night. So kind of just playing off that all week. She kind of falls into depression early in the week, when after the weekend, a fun weekend, and it's back to the monotonous of Monday, Tuesday. But starting to come out of it today. So
well, that's your next step then. You start to make the monotonous less monotonous, right? Have some fun, right? Even if it's just little stuff, man. The little home dates, the little connection periods, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are doing a lot right now, extra projects and stuff too. But when you do relax, turn it into some fun.
Well, I kind of figured out too is like maybe I tried to push for too much of that in the past.
Oh, just change it up.
Like
just change it up.
Like,
totally just change it up, man. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a quick like a little dance, right? Like, literally, it doesn't have to be where you're spending a ton of time together. It's the quality time that matters. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a really good reflection. You guys, did you catch what James just said? He said, when I've pushed too much for all the date styles that I teach in the reset, she almost feels smothered, or I feel like I'm smothering her. I can't remember what you said there. But it's really important. That's why we have the VFC method, variety, frequency, and consistency. It's so important because otherwise it is smothering, right? Now, then it can't just do that. That's why Man with Purpose is so important. You see how everything stacks, guys? That's why we learn it in the order that we do. James is just really familiar with it. I think James has probably watched the reset like 400 times, and he's implementing, right?
The issue with me is consistency in implementing, because I think with the type of person she is, that she withdraws after sex because she feels a lot of shame and guilt around it.
Yeah.
And that's where my insecurity comes out the most. The next couple of days after, I'll be able to keep that at bay this week and just kind of let her like breathe a little bit, do her own thing, and I think it's been helpful. So
good for you, man. I'm really, really impressed, dude.
And I get better and better. I just got to, the consistency with the insecurity is not letting them affect me. Sure.
Good. And overall, what do you say about her mood? Is she happier in general? I know you mentioned depression a second ago, but is she happier in general? Is she moving forward, feeling more like a partner with you? Do you feel that way in general?
In general, I would say it's just a little above what it was. I think the quality of conversations got better for sure. And I've seen moments where she gets giddy or happy or makes a joke, smiling more for sure.
Okay, so this is good. So
Kind of,
the reason why I bring that up is because you're talking about insecurity still on you, and that has been the major problem in your relationship, right? So if she's feeling open enough to feel like, I love that you said she was feeling really giddy. That means she's feeling less like she has to walk on eggshells and more like herself because your insecurity isn't gripping her now too, right? Not as much anyway, okay? You're more in control. You're responding, not reacting, etc., etc. On a whole, that's what I would say.
And exactly, and respond, not react. And I kind of had an epiphany yesterday. There's a lot of trauma centered around her dad, and she was never allowed to feel her emotions as a child. Her dad's a great guy, but he was just like the type of guy, like, get the fuck over it. This is how life is. You just do what you got to do. Coming from more of a man logical standpoint versus emotionally available to a woman. And so I think for me, and there's a lot of centered around her parents invading her privacy with her phone when she was younger. I think is when I even asked her, even in like a calm, polite way, she didn't have the tools yet to reassure, just because she's kind of she has a lot of trauma and she's a wounded girl,
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't dealt with anything. So for me, is when I go to her like that, I also triggered her dad. And so her first reaction is defensiveness. And so I'm learning, like, she doesn't want another dad. She wants a partner. Like, she wants me, for me.
Dude, you're going to...
Not to, like, push her dad to ask her.
Dude, this falls into what we were talking about with she won't follow if she feels like she's being dragged. This is leadership.
Yeah.
This is, if you think about it like this, when all of you joined the program, you had zero communication skills, right? That's it. Just like what James just said. It's exactly what I teach you. Our parents all said, don't feel, don't cry, be quiet, stop screaming, or I'll take this away. There's nothing to be afraid of, blah, 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 blah. Your wife is the same, right?
Yes. She's a child, honestly, yeah.
We're all just children until we learn adult skills. They don't teach it in school, just like finances, communication, nada, right? There's so many things. So when you have this, guys, think about this really hard when you're thinking about your man in power, okay? When you're releasing your wife. One of the best things that you can do when you are frustrated, when your wife is not recognizing your changes, when your wife is not appreciating them, still holding on to the past, all of these things, she was not taught. But what James has done, James been super patient. James also made a few mistakes. But you've been super patient, and one or two, yeah. But we all do. But super patient and continuing to learn and develop, the skills that he's been picking up from the reset from Lords, and then showing her, not telling her what to do, right? And Greg, where's Greg? Greg, this is sort of like, when you think about, getting together on Thursdays to go through the Gottman's book and do this and that, or if you think about therapy in general, guys, why it's not as effective as just leading is because that feels like you're telling her to do something, or she has to do something. But when you just respond, you don't react, you just continue to show up, you're not defensive. Cody, you don't blame her, you're not feeling fearful, you just show up. Then what happens? She learns. It's the kill 'em with kindness. I didn't make that cliche up, man. If you're just gentle, loving, firm and assertive, sure, right? Know what you're doing in your confidence based on your core values. She starts to learn the same skills. She stops walking on eggshells. I'm so proud of you right now, James. We haven't talked in a little while. I'm super happy to hear from you today.